Just look at the power, feel it and hear it. And boy, isn't this thing beautiful. I've got quite a bit of equipment up here for internet and cellular. It is Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and yes, that means it's time to go camping again. I'm so excited to be able to go and leave the work week behind and look at the wonders that nature has to offer. This week we're going to Versailles State Park, and I had to do a little bit of research how to say it. I thought it was Versailles, Versailles, and I called the park service to find out if they had potable water, and they said no. They said it's Versailles, so I'm going with Versailles for now. Bo is here. He's excited to go. He is so happy to go camping, and so am I. My little buddy, look at that. He's smiling already. So Versailles State Park is Indiana's second largest state park, has 25 miles of bike trails. With all of the rain we've got yesterday, I'm hoping it's not going to be muddy, but we're going to check it out. I haven't been to Versailles for, I think, 3 years, so looking forward to see Versailles. A lot of people like Versailles as much as they like Brown County. It's a little farther away from Indianapolis, is in southern Indiana, hour and a half away from Indiana. So I'm ready to get going and ready for a fun trip, and I hope you are too. Thank you for joining. Just arrived at Versailles State Park. It's a beautiful day, 71 degrees, and they put the potable water fill right by the ranger station. So I have to block the road when I'm filling up my tank. This is a beautiful park. It's right here along the river. You can see in the front of the truck. There's a sunset in the back. And Bo has been a good little boy riding, and he is excited to get here, and we're ready to have a great time. It is 7 p.m. Friday night, 71 degrees. Airstream is all set up and ready for an amazing night's sleep. The trees here are so beautiful, and is just at dusk right now. Turning over here to the right, you can see the sunset setting in the west, and how beautiful of a shot that is. So excited to be here. But look, I am the only RV in the campground. I feel a little overindulgent taking up all the spaces, having the whole campground to myself. And I just can't believe it's 71 degrees. There's only one RV in the entire campground. So I talked to the ranger. Their fees for 2026 only went up $10. So their winter camping rate was $17. So 17 to 27, I didn't even notice that. So glad to hear that not all the campgrounds went up so dramatically, and that Versailles is still a bargain. Good morning. It is Saturday at 5 a.m. Had a great night's sleep last night. Had so much comfort. The heat pump and the air conditioner was keeping the inside perfectly warm, perfectly cool. And here I am, the only camper in the entire campground. It feels a lot like boondocking with an electrical pole. How nice it is to be out in nature. You know, pan over to the right and you can see the trees. Let's go up, and then there is the moon. It is such an amazing night. And again, there's no other camper here in the campground, and it feels great to be out in the wild. I could be home right now, and how sad would that be, not enjoying the great outdoors, the trees, the river that's just running right next to us, and also the solitude and the fresh air. So happy to be here. Looking forward to an exciting day. I'm going to try to go bike riding and hiking and exploring to see what this campground is all about, and become reacquainted with Versailles State Park in Indianapolis, Indiana. The gift of life is truly precious, and I believe it is best spent outdoors in the woods whenever possible. There is really nothing that is as beautiful as the moon reflecting on the Airstream, and how freeing it is to be in the outdoors and to enjoy this sublime beauty, and I get to enjoy it all to myself. And I am very happy to share it with you. There's a feeling out here, a feeling of comfort and happiness and serenity that just can't be matched anywhere on the indoors. And so I am grateful to be here, and grateful that the Airstream provides such comfortable surroundings and such luxury to be out in the woods and having such a fun time. There's really no sight quite so dramatic and humbling as an Airstream sunrise. The sun's coming up. Airstream represents all of the fun and adventures that we have ahead, and looking at how beautiful Mother Nature serves as a background, and how happy I am to be here this morning, ready for such a fun day. Just look at that sunrise. The sun is bathing the clouds in golden oranges and red, and creating such a beautiful atmosphere, making outside more beautiful than anything that could ever be created by man. What a wonderful privilege it is to be outside, and especially to be the only camper enjoying this fantastic sight at 7 a.m. in the morning. Hiking along Orchard Trail number 2. It's kind of overcast and windy, but the temperature is fantastic. Feels like 65 to 75 degrees. Just so grateful to be out camping, enjoying this time with Bo, and having a fun hike together. I don't think I've ever hiked trails at Versailles State Park, but it is certainly different than other state parks. There's more streams. The scenery is uniquely different, and is tied to Versailles with its own ecosystem. Crossing streams is always fun. Bo always loves playing in the water, trying to get as wet and as messy as possible. And boy, what a fun morning we are having. I love using all trails when I go hiking. It's almost like using Google Maps when you're driving, because here's a good example. Here is Trail 2. It says go right on ahead, but it looks like the most heavily traveled trails on the left. And I have no idea which way I should go. I hate being lost in the woods. And so I just pulled it up on all trails and say, oh yeah, I want to do a big loop around the campground, which means I want to turn right and not the most heavily traveled path on the left. Thanks, All Trails, for providing such guidance and making me never worry whether I'm on the right trail or not, and if I'm ever going to get lost. Usually Bo knows the way, but All Trails seems to help as well. With all the craziness and uncertainty going on in the world right now, with wars and oil prices going up and stock prices going down, it is so nice to just be away from it all. And nature provides that escape. So happy to be here and look at what's really important and what's more permanent, which is being outside and in the great outdoors. As you can see, it is raining outside. And that's one of the things I like best about the Airstream, is it keeps myself and Bo nice and dry, comfy, even in the midst of rain. I don't really mind if it rains over the weekends, because it usually doesn't rain the entire time, with some exceptions, of course. but it'll clear up later on this afternoon. And so I'm just enjoying a comfy day inside the RV, enjoying the warmth, and Bo is having so much fun getting all the attention in the world. And so what do you do when it's raining? I don't think I've ever given you a tour of my Airstream. And so I thought, well, let's do that. I'm not going to give you a tour of the outside, but I think I can give you a tour of the inside. You'll find what the Airstream has, the features of the 23 FBT Flying Cloud, and how I use them, and also some of the modifications and upgrades I've made to make it more comfortable for myself. And that's probably why I like it so much, is it is just perfect for me. It's the right trade-off between capabilities and weight and width, and also room inside. And so let's take a tour and see what this looks like inside. We will start right at the front. And wouldn't it be nice if Airstreams came with their own French Bulldog to go hiking with and to have fun? So the twin beds in front are 34 inches wide, 80 inches long, give me plenty of room to stretch out. And yes, that's why I like the twin bed, because this aisleway in the middle is a way of opening up the Airstream to make it seem bigger than it already is. And so I like having the twin beds in front. I like the cabinets and the closets inside. And so back here is a cabinet. Let me see if I can back up, open it up. And it's a nice closet. And I use that for extra coats, my toolkit. And I think I have Bo's skateboard down at the bottom. So these closets have lights in them, which is nice. When it was new, you had to turn the light on. And so I thought, I'm too lazy for that. So I installed this switch up here at the top and wired it into the light. And so every time I open the closet, the light is turning on, which is nice. And then over here, I've done the same thing for the overhead cabinets. Open it up, the light comes on, and it's an illusion like everything is lit from the inside out, and so happy to have so much light. Up on the top, there's also a LED light that goes on top of the cabinets, which provides backlighting hitting the roof of the Airstream, providing a nice warm glow. So what are some of the things I've done to the Airstream? When I got the Airstream, the beds weren't as thick as I liked. So I went on to Airstream Supply and ordered the thickest mattress possible. And as I open this up, you'll see that the mattress is it's 11 inches thick, so it is very comfy. And then this wood structure down here, you'll see that the mattress comes over the end of the bed by probably 4, maybe 4.5 inches. And for me, it kept falling off, kept scooting over and falling off. And then when I would sit on the edge, it would fall off. And so I created these slats, which allow the bed to breathe and also provide support for both sides of the mattress. And then these boards, I made them out of cedar so that they would smell nice. And I've really enjoyed having that addition. I have my nightstand in the middle. This nightstand, I think it was Formica when I first got it. And that's one of the favorite upgrades as I've upgraded all the countertops, the nightstand, the table, and also the kitchen counter and the bathroom sink, so that it is now Corian. The one in the bedroom has these nice rounded edges. And up here, there's a 110 volt outlet. And then on both sides, there are USB connectors. So I connect everything and charge everything. And then here's a nice drawer in the middle for storage. And then down here, this box that you see is storage, but it's accessible from the outside. Up top, there's 2 reading lamps. And so a couple of the other upgrades over here. And this window, I put an additional window up top. And Airstream Factory Service did that for me. They did a great job. Very happy that they did it. Wanted one over here on the right. And so here we have another porthole window on the top of this one, providing light and making it seem even more airy. These curtains on the side, originally, they would bunch up, covering most of this window. So I had Airstream Factory Service lengthen the rails of the curtains. So now when I open the curtains, it opens up the entire window, which makes it very, very comfortable. For electronics, it came with a standard 24-inch 12-volt television. And I thought, you know what can I do to upgrade the TV? So I went to Best Buy and I found a 27-inch television that was designed for gaming, very high resolution, and very happy with just the bigger size and the better picture. And then below the TV, I put a Bose soundbar, which provides incredibly rich sound while watching TV. Over here on the right cabinet, you'll see, let me move this across. I've got quite a bit of equipment up here for internet and cellular. On the left is Airstream Connected, and that has a SIM card for Verizon. It's connected to the cellular antenna on the roof, and it provides Verizon service through an internal Wi-Fi. And then also this transformer here and this antenna is WeBoost. So WeBoost provides signal boosting. If you do not have a good signal, it amplifies the signal. And then here is the Starlink, and the Starlink, that's the power supply, and that's the Starlink router, and then it goes up through the roof. And I splurged and got the Starlink Performance Dish. It's permanently mounted outside. I never have to set anything up. And so now I have choices when I go out through Verizon or Starlink, and that works out really well. If there's tree covering, the Starlink, or it's a shady campsite area, I've got Verizon. And if I have a very poor connection like I have today, I'm using Starlink, which gives me a very reliable internet service. So very, very happy to have that. This is looking back from the bedroom towards the rest of the RV. There's this nice curtain hanging in the middle. So if I have guests staying over, I can pull that across and have two separate bedrooms. Here on the closet door, one of the accessories I put in is the Airstream portal mirror. And I first got the Airstream, I put a gigantic mirror on that door, covered the entire door with mirror, thinking that would be nice. But it really didn't have the look I wanted. And so I carefully took it off and put this porthole mirror, which I really like, because if you look at the bathroom door, it also has the porthole window. Very happy that it looks so nice and goes with the Airstream vibe. Let's look in the closet, see what we have there. And again, what I did, sorry for the mess, but I activated the lights. So when I open the closet door, the light turns on. This is a fabulous closet. Gives me plenty of room for coats, whatever storage that I want, and provides great storage there. There's my ammo can fire pit on the upper right. And I have towels and extra pillowcases and sheets above that. And the aluminum on the inside provides a nice backdrop for the indirect lighting. And then here on top of the fridge, there's another cabinet. And when I first got the Airstream, this cabinet was just a few inches deep. Back to here, I thought, wow, that's not very helpful. And then I saw the Airstream 23-foot trade wind, and I opened it up. I said, wow, there's a gigantic cabinet back there. So I took that back panel off and then bought a piece of Luan for the shelf decking, and then put a piece of wire on the back so the refrigerator can vent. And now I keep my space heaters and also fishing poles and fishing tackle box in there. And that's just like a bonus storage area that I am so happy to have that, because I have no idea where I'd put all this stuff if I didn't have this additional cabinet. With this cabinet door, I installed two spring hinges here and made it so I don't have to hold the door up. I open it up, and then I also put the indirect lighting that turns on automatically when I open the cabinet door. And as you can see over here in the kitchen area, I have two gigantic cabinets. This one supplements, and again, it's all nice and lighted. Open it up, I can get whatever I want. And also back here, that one's empty because that's where I store my appliances while traveling. And the appliances I store are the air fryer and also the Vitamix. And then the Berkey, I take that home with me. That's what that other carrying case is. And then here's the kitchen. I love this kitchen in the Airstream. It's got lots of counter space. It's very nice looking. And I really like that I upgraded the counter to be Corian. When I did that, I had the option of undermounting the sink. And so this is the standard Airstream sink, which is undermounted underneath the Corian cabinet. And then there's a stove. And below the stove is the combo contour microwave, air fryer, and oven. So I really have all the appliances I could imagine. And I used to bring the Vitamix back and forth every time I would go camping, but it's so heavy I didn't want to lug it, so I bought an extra one. It's always in the Airstream. Same with the air fryer. Didn't want to bring that with me. That's just extra things to get ready, so that's always in the Airstream. The Berkey, I do use that one at home because there's an advantage to keeping those filters wet. If they dry out, they have to be reprimed, and I didn't want to do that. Now, underneath the cabinet, there is drawers. There's a silverware drawer, and also beneath that is more storage space. There's the crock pot that I take with me, and additional pots and pans and what I need. Below that are the furnace vents, and those two horizontal vents are the intake for the furnace. So the way the Airstream works is with the heat pump up top. I usually run that because if I'm plugged into the campground, I don't have to pay extra for electricity. But if the electricity gets if the temperature drops below 30 degrees, it turns off the heat pump and automatically turns on the furnace. And so having at least 3 sources of heat in the winter is really nice. The heat pump, the furnace, and also the space heaters provide multiple sources of heat. That's why I call the Airstream almost like a Swiss Army knife. And so speaking of HVAC control system, I use the micro air thermostat back here, which I just absolutely love. The micro air, you can automatically set it for heating and cooling, and it switches between the two based on what it needs. And the best thing about this is it's connected to the Wi-Fi. And so while I'm gone, if I leave Bo here during the day, if it gets too hot or too cold, I have triggers where it sends me push messages to my phone, and I can look and see if I have electricity, what's going on. I can change the temperature and change the way that the HVAC system works, but mostly know that there's something wrong and I need to pay attention to him. In addition, while I'm gone, I have a camera which I put back here, and it monitors Bo. That camera sees the entire Airstream. I can watch him during the day, make sure he's safe, and that he's not in stress in any way whatsoever. So it's nice to have technology with camping so that you can monitor the Airstream temperature and what's happening when you're gone to make sure he's okay and having a great time. Let's continue with the tour. Circling back, sorry to move so fast. And then over here is the dinette. So when I first got the Airstream, the dinette was not that nice white table. It was a large rectangular table that slid back and forth. But the sliding mechanism, when it came from the factory, was so loose that it's surprising things didn't just fall off that table on their own. I thought, wow, that is really a loose, janky table. And it was so big, it's only me and Bo. I didn't need a gigantic table I had to squeeze in when I needed to use it. So I used the same base that came from the factory. And what I did is I looked at shapes and I used tape on the table to try to figure out what shape did I want. I was thinking of an octagon or a smaller rectangle. And the one I turned out having is the circle. And the circle is the same diameter as the width of the rectangular table. So it gave me some perspective of what I needed. But a circle with this U-shaped dinette, I think, is the perfect shape, because having this circle is easy to get in and out of. And then there's a couple of other bonuses. One is this Corian is solid as a rock. It's not moving anywhere. And then I can actually move the table and I can adjust it how I want. So the post is off center. So if I want more of the table on the aisle, I can adjust it and have more room for the dinette, or I can slide it down and actually make the dinette into a bed just using this table, because the cushions are strong enough so that you don't notice that there's a few gaps at the edges of the circle. So very happy with how that turned out, and very happy with how comfortable the dinette is and how well it worked out. Let's go back up to the top. There's two more cabinets overhead the table, and of course these cabinets have automatic lighting. There's actually three built in, so I open the cabinet and see the lights come on. And then here is the stereo, and I have LevelMate Pro, which makes it very easy to level the RV and when I arrive using a app on my mobile phone. Back here, there are hooks, and I thought about putting a big mirror where you see that whiteboard and the hooks, but in reality, I really like the hooks. They're being fully utilized. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 coats on there. Bo's leash is on there. The whiteboard is magnetic. So whenever I go someplace interesting, I buy a little memento, logo, showing where I've been. It allows me to look at that and have very fond memories of my adventures. But you can see I put 2 outdoor floor mats, and this became the mudroom. So I usually don't step into the rest of the Airstream. I take off my shoes there and use that as the area to take my shoes on, off, put them on, and to get ready. And then there's key hooks over here on the left. So I've got keys hanging, and also the flashlight hanging down. This controller here is what I put in. And as you look at the overhead lights over above the cabinets, this is actually a remote controller for turning those on and off. So I can click here, I can turn those off, I can turn them on, and also I can change the, I can use it as a dimmer, so I can make them dimmer or lighter, just however I want. And so very happy with how the lights turned out. And as you can see with the air conditioner, I've done so much work on the air conditioner up top. So first of all, these vents are the Aircrafter vents. They're very expensive, and I really had to swallow hard when I made the decision to buy those because there's so many of them. Each one is expensive, but after getting them, I really like them. It improves the airflow and improves the efficiency of the air conditioner. The Airstream 23 foot comes standard with a 13,500 BTU air conditioner, and in the Florida sun, that just wasn't cutting it. So I was thinking, wow, what can I do to provide additional cooling inside the RV? Because Bo's back there, I don't want him getting too hot because he is a French Bulldog and sensitive to hot temperatures. So I went to Airstream Factory Service, and they actually upgraded the air conditioner for a cost to the 15,000 Dometic low profile. So it just was a clean sweep, a clean swap, and very happy I have some increased capacity for the air conditioner and the heat pump. And then of course I put the soft start in, making it easier to start and stop, especially with my Ford F-150 Power Boost. And these vents have filters, both MERV 8 filters and carbon filters on them as well, and also had Airstream Factory Service install the Airlock ion air cleaner as well. So very happy with the air system, and altogether it's working out really well. Sometimes I wish I had gotten a 25 foot so I could get 2 air conditioners, but with all the upgrades, this works just fine. Now let's look at the back of the Airstream. Up here, there's something I switched out. I switched out the Fantastic fan, which turned out to be not so fantastic, and swapped it out for the Max Air Fan Deluxe, which I absolutely love. Even though it's raining like it is today, the fan is running just fine. The vent can be open and it can run while it's raining, which I really, really like because I've got great airflow even during the rain. The Fantastic fan had a moisture switch, and even when I was showering, it would keep closing, just sensing the humidity in the air, and I had to unplug that. They were functionally non-working, but very happy that the Max Air fan, and the Max Air fan is so much quieter than the Fantastic fan. Certainly would recommend that for anyone considering upgrading their Fantastic fan. Let's go back into the bathroom. And this is one thing I really like about the Airstream. Sorry for the mess, but this bathroom is so luxurious. It's huge. It's the biggest bathroom that Airstream makes, except for the 33-foot Classic. And so there's tons of room in here. It's a dry bath. It's all together. The toilet's there. You can see I put in the Corian counter, which matches the counter in the kitchen and the dinette, and really ties it together. And then over here is the shower. Let's turn on the light. Actually turned that on myself, or installed that myself, and you can see in the shower, it is really, really big. I have no problem with it being tall enough and roomy enough. And then there's the teak insert on the bottom. It is just like showering in a spa. And I'm so happy that I get to take a nice shower every morning. It's the best way to start the day out right when camping. And it's difficult to know that I'm camping with such luxurious accommodations. And so there's the basically the inside. I'm sure I've missed some things, but it gives you an overview of what the inside looks like, how it works, could it work for you, and also some ideas for upgrades that you can make to an Airstream to make it yours, and how comfortable this Airstream is for me, and how much I enjoy camping and being in the outdoors, because I have such a luxurious home to go to and sleeping at night. put in the comments any questions you have on any of the modifications or costs or any other questions you have. Be happy to answer those, and hope this inspires you to show you how luxurious camping can be if you have the right equipment. And I feel like I really do. I couldn't be happier with the inside. Sometime I'll give you a tour on the outside, but this is the perfect Airstream for me. There's always compromises on whatever you pick, and this seems to be the perfect balance in terms of what serves my needs and gives me the most fun and enjoyable camping experience. I did not know that Versailles had a lake and a boat ramp, so makes it fun for fishing and water activities during the summer. And this is the river feeding into the lake at Versailles, and it's very full right now, being that it's the rainy season. This is a view of the lake on the other side of the bridge. Looks like lots of fun for canoeing and also for kayaking. This is the spillway for the Versailles Lake Dam. I don't know if you can hear the sound. It sounds thunderous with all the water coming down because of the spring runoff. All the power, all that water, and all the good it could do throughout the rest of the valley. There's Bo climbing the stairs to the Versailles Lake Dam, making sure I am coming. And it's still raining, but still it's dry enough to have fun and go on a little adventure. Here he is coming to get me. Top of the dam. Look how beautiful the lake is. So peaceful and serene, and yet represents so much power. Just look at the power, feel it and hear it, of all that water going across the spillway. Strong enough to drive turbines, cut canyons, and certainly provide life to trees and vegetation all the way throughout the rest of the river valley. I don't know if you can hear it. It's not the Niagara, but it still has that same roar of a tremendous amount of water falling every second. And of course, Bo is playing in the water, trying to catch a fish, seeing what's going on, having the time of his life, being a little boy and having fun in the river. It may not be the Amazon, but that is a lot of water. This shows a tremendous amount of water flowing out into the river as it comes off of the spillway, off of the dam. I don't think I've ever seen a statue or a bronze statue of somebody shirtless before. This is a statue in tribute to the Civilian Conservation Corps, who worked from 1933 to 1942, creating walkways and bridges and also stairways at the state parks throughout the country. So thank you to all the hard workers who made these state parks so enjoyable and created such great infrastructure that we can enjoy as campers in the 2020s, almost 100 years later. And here is the covered bridge. I didn't know you could drive on it. Let's see if you can. Weight limit 5 tons. Check, check, check. Trail to Versailles. Let's look at this. Built in 1885 by Thomas Hardman at a cost of $2,200, spanning Laufrey Creek at 176 feet and 16 feet in width. The Bushing Bridge is one of only 2 covered bridges left in the county. Wow. Well, let's check it out. Driving through the 176-foot long covered bridge. And boy, isn't this thing beautiful. All the way through. Looks like we're going through a Christmas tunnel or wonderland as we go through the bridge on the other side. This is the covered bridge from the opposite direction. Let's drive through it the other way. I've never really been able to drive through a covered bridge like this before that's so long and so historic. Go through, and just like that, it lights up. It's not really lighting up, it's just the light settings on the iPhone camera adjusting to the dark and then reopening. These roads are so steep, it's almost like you're going for a 4-wheel drive tour through the woods. It's kind of fun actually, and if I ever need it, I'm glad I have 4-wheel drive to get me through. The rain is still continuing, but we are still having a great time and still exploring even in the truck. Good morning. It is Sunday morning, 7:30 a.m. Morning started a little early today because it is, of course, daylight savings time. Had a great night's sleep last night. It stopped raining, about 6 p.m. or so. And even though it rained most of the weekend, I still had fun. I got to go and enjoy and explore Versailles State Park. I went to the dam, went on a little hike, and then I was just sitting in the RV as it was raining, and my Verizon cellular was just so slow and so spotty. It was just frustrating. Hardly anything would load. So I was so happy today at this trip that I had a backup. So I have the Starlink performance dish mounted permanently on the roof of the Airstream, and I turned that on. I had it on standby mode for $5 a month, and but I was very happy to have that option. When I turned that on, I was in the lap of luxury. High-speed internet for watching YouTube videos, browsing, shopping on Amazon, and just having all of the luxuries of being at home. Sometimes the internet, while traveling in the Airstream with the performance dish, is higher speed and better than the fiber optic that I have at home. So very happy for that. Through this entire weekend, there are no other campers. I am the only camper. I feel bad for having all the fun because yesterday the temperatures were so warm, it got up to be, I think, 71 degrees. And here I am, the only camper in the campground, and I have the entire place to myself. Bo had a fun time, I had a fun time, and I am looking forward to the next adventure. And so this morning I cleaned the RV, getting it ready for next week, completely winterized the RV so that my water lines will work properly, and looking forward to editing this video, posting it on the same day, and making my way home back to Indianapolis. Thank you so much for your kind comments. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And thank you for joining me on my adventure, living every day to the fullest. None of us gets to live forever. And so while we have the time we have, it is so important to enjoy the greatest gift of all, which is nature. When I look at the beauty of the trees, the sky, you can see there's the sun is is going to rise behind me. I am just humbled at how beautiful it is, and realizing this will all be here long after I am gone. That's why I want to enjoy it while I have the time to do so. So looking forward to seeing you next week. Please like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. I love you so much. I love you for your support, and also for allowing me to join you, or you to join me on my adventure every weekend. Have a great week and look forward to seeing you soon.